Attorney Lenore. My wife is a parenting idiot. Oh my goodness. Aren't women supposed to have a sixth sense about parenting? Our son is 12 with special needs. She refuses to learn about his special needs, nor will she attend parent-teacher conferences to support him. On many occasions that I lost count of, she has put our son in harm's way. The arguing and bickering in front of our son only makes things worse for him. I told her I was filing for a divorce and taking full custody of our son. This is a mess. How can divorce mediation help us, or should I just get my own lawyer? Sincerely, better than her parent.
Wow.
Tell right.
Wow. Well, gosh, having a special needs child is stressful. My son was special needs, and it was stressful. Thankfully, my husband and I were on the same page about him and what he needed, but that is definitely not always the case. And I've had plenty of clients who have come through either before me as a conciliator or in my practice where that is just not the case. I think in terms of this father, in part, counseling could be helpful. But some people are not as intuitive to their children's needs as others. So I definitely, again, think mediation is worth going through. Even in most courts now, even when you do file for custody, they make you go meet with a mediator anyway.
Yes.
So why not start there? And the custody litigation process, it's brutal. It really is brutal. It's brutal for everybody. So truthfully, I think they're in that situation, they need a lot of counseling, because I think the counseling is what's going to get them to the point where they're going to be able to work together as parents, and then the parenting plan will pretty much write itself if they do that. Again, some people can get to that point, other people can't. It is certainly worth going to a mediator to at least initially discuss what some of their concerns are and to see if they can come up with some compromises. Obviously, it's more than just their inability to parent with one another. There's more to it than that. But to have two parents fighting like that is really stressful for a child. And just because you're living in two separate houses doesn't necessarily mean you're not still going to be fighting. So you have to do the work one way or the other.
Yeah.
And with a special needs child, you have to understand the structure that they need, what their special requirements are. And there's definitely county services that have family-based therapy that can even come out and help in a situation like that, to talk to both parents in the same way. Maybe if you can't bring Muhammad to the mountain, bring the mountain to Muhammad. I mean, if they can, if he can get somebody to come in and talk to both of them, that might be a really good thing.
Yeah.
But that's tough.
And it seems to me that, by naming himself as better than her parent, that is not such a helpful position to take if you're wanting the best for your child. I mean, there might be many reasons mom is not able to be the kind of parent that dad thinks she should be. So your point about maybe getting some guidance around that up front would be very helpful, because who knows why she's not who he thinks she should be. And who knows why he thinks he's better than she be. I mean, this is
right. I mean, a lot of people will be like, well, in many situations, well, that's how my parents raised me, and I think I turned out okay. And they're like, well, maybe not, but okay. I mean, if people come at it from a lot of different perspectives, and I think the idea is that parenting, you need to parent based on the child you have, not on the child you think that you have or the way you were parented, because you're not your child. But and then the other thing is, well, when you decided to be parents together, or hopefully there was some decision in that, you must have looked at one another and thought that each of you was going to be a good parent. So is that really, is it that you are wrong, or is it a different perspective? And then lastly, your child needs both of you, and your child knows that they're half of each of you. So to feel that the other parent has something against the other, that you're in the middle and the parents don't like one another, it tends to make kids feel bad about themselves. Like, oh, wow, I have that part of dad or mom, and mom or dad says that's a nasty part, and I guess I shouldn't like that part, So it's really not good for their self-esteem either.
I think you're so spot on, Lenore. Just before we go to the last two questions, I learned when I was going through my divorce that no matter how negatively I thought about the father of my children, they still need, or how negligent, he wasn't really negligent, but even if I some days thought he was negligent because I was so upset, no matter, they still needed their father in their lives, no matter how perfect or imperfect I thought he was, they needed him. That was, and once I got present to that fact, it really helped me personally co-parent better, and really help them share things with me that they might have been struggling with when it came to their dad. So I really such a proponent of, no matter how imperfect you think the other parent is, the children need that parent in their lives.
Most definitely. And having a special needs child, you cannot do it alone. You really need someone there to help. So, you're kind of cutting your nose off to spite your face if you cause the issue with the other parent. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, where's that coming from in my past?
Yes.
And am I projecting things that are not healthy for my child onto them? So yeah, it takes a while.